Hello, everyone. This is Sherry Greenhouse, Managing Partner of Serum Exchange, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webcast, where we're going to talk about a 30-minute roadmap to robotic automation for the contact center. Just a couple of brief housekeeping items. This webcast is being recorded. It takes about 24 hours or so to get the recording link back. We will then send you a link to the recording, and there will also be a PDF of the slides. We'll have a Q&A at the end of this webcast. So if you look at your console, you'll see the presenters, your own name only, and down at the bottom, you'll see Q&A. So just to get used to that Q&A, just chat yes or no. How many that are on with us today have been looking into, or you're considering, or even you're just a little curious about robotic automation? So just use that Q&A and chat back to me, yes or no. And great. Oh, a lot of people. Well, I guess that's why you're here. You're interested. That's why you're looking into it. And as a reminder, there will be a brief survey at the very end of this presentation. It does come up as you're kind of logging out. So let us know any comments, anything you need, we need to know. Let us know in that comment section about the presentation. So I'm now going to introduce your presenter, Naresh Kassari, Senior Director of Business Development for EdgeVerve Systems. Now, Naresh is responsible for designing solutions that enhance customer value through the use of technology. He also spearheads several initiatives that help enterprise enhance customer experience across many channels. So he specializes in creating these solutions. He's quoted in national and trade publications, and I am going to turn this over to Naresh.
Thank you, Sherry. Good afternoon and good morning to all of you who have joined from Pacific or the other time zones on the western side. My name is Naresh Kothari, and I'm with EdgeVerve, responsible for creating solutions around robotics, and especially into areas which have a direct impact on the overall customer experience, as well as the resolution times for the agents when customers reach out to them. What I will do is, in the next 30 minutes, talk briefly about robotics and how it can be implemented for contact centers and associated activities, directly impacting customer service and the task which can be potentially automated. Now, I'm sure that you hear every day about automation, and especially in the area of automation, RPA is the buzzword these days. Everyone talks about RPA. But going back to the simple definition, so that for the next 30 minutes, we are all on the same page with respect to what is this whole robotic automation all about. RPA is nothing but automation of the repetitive activities and the tasks that the agents perform while they are talking to the customers, and essentially the task which involves actions on various applications. Those applications could be something which are owned by your companies or by systems which are external. Robotic automation is not about the robots, which we all know, taking the calls of the customer and then automating the task. It is about, in the current context, using software robots to automate the actions that are performed while the agents are on the call. Another clarification is that robotic automation, or RPA, is not about replacing any of the existing applications. You may have CRM applications, billing applications, ordering systems, or ticketing systems. and agents may have to refer to these applications when the customers are calling. But this automation is not about replacing of the existing systems. It is all about providing the capability to the agents to demand automation based on the context of the call and ensure that the tasks are completed by these software robots. And I'm sure that you hear every day, just like about RPA, and the benefits. There are like many organizations, 500, Fortune 2000, or rather the top 5,000 companies who have embarked on this journey of building robotic automation. And what we see is that a significant number of companies have already started on this journey. They are, I would say, pretty mature in terms of building robotic automation and providing all necessary help to the agents. And overall, the savings, like outside of course, the very positive impact that automation can create on the customer experience, companies have realized savings of over 20% on their operational cost with software robots. This is not nice. This is all real. And there are several examples how these software robots are helping every stakeholder in a contact center. It could be the agent, it could be the operations, it could be the back office team that is helping the customers' queries and the tickets that are logged. And of course, like we all know that once tasks are automated, it can have a cascading effect, a very positive impact to all of the qualitative as well as the quantitative metrics. And what we have seen is that it is not just the contact center, but many activities that go beyond the contact centers and directly impact the customer experience. There too, software robots can provide significant savings as well as faster turnaround time. We see that software robots are impacting every facet of the business function. And of course, like whether it is customer service, back office operations, financial operations, HR operations, software robots have been able to automate a lot of these manual activities. And companies are leveraging software robots to perform these variety of tasks and automate manual tasks which are traditionally done by CSRs or the back-end users. One important question that I do get often in many conversations is that, okay, we understand what is automation. We now understand what is robotic automation as well. And at the same time, since clarify that it is not about replacing the existing applications, then what does it do and what it automates? When customers call into the contact centers, we know that, yes, of course, there is an initial greeting by the agents, and then from there on, based on the reason why the customers are calling, the agents then go to various systems and do the necessary set of activities based on the context. In a nutshell, these tasks are nothing but either the users interacting with various applications. Those could be across different technologies like Java, Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, Salesforce, and many other leading industry packages. The tasks are all about navigating across various screens, pulling out data from a system or a screen, applying some business logic, performing some kind of validations, and completing the activities based on what data is retrieved from those specific screens. Many times it also involves aggregation of the data from multiple sources. Agents do have point solutions created on their desktops, like small macros, small Excel sheets, a notepad, or sometimes even the traditional sheet of paper where they put down all the important points that need to be discussed in the call, or something that they need to take care of during the call or post the call. The way we see it is that all of these tasks are pretty structured in nature. They're all manual, and they follow a certain set of business rules. And once the context of the call is known, these tasks can easily be automated using software robots. So software robots, it's all about automating these tasks which are performed by the agents on the enterprise applications without replacing the existing systems, but yet performing the automations consistently, repetitively, with 100% accuracy. And just to, if we have to, let's say, live the life of an agent or a CSR in a contact center, I'm sure that all of you would echo that and agree as well that these are the activities that are performed by the agents. Start of the day. Let's get ready for logging into different applications. There could be shortcuts, that could be desktop icons, or that could be a kind of a list that the CSRs or the agents maintain to log in into different applications. So starting with the first step itself, it is all about the CSR remembering all of the user IDs and passwords, if it is not automated, of course, launching every application one by one, ensuring that all the systems are ready before they get ready for the next call, or for the first call, I would say, in this case. And while it may be seen as a one-time activity of logging into various systems, we do notice that some of the systems do time out, which in case can happen between the calls as well. So in that case, the agents have to again go back and perform that manual step again. And of course, we all know that when they work the entire day, there are multiple shifts and multiple breaks that they need to take. And these activities like logging into different applications may have to be done 4 or 5 times in a day. Post that, once they are ready for the call and once they get the context from the customers, they have to perform a search to get the data for that customer by performing a search in different applications. And sometimes multiple applications do require some kind of correlation between the various data. For example, one system may allow you a search by an account number of that customer. And the other system, you may just have to enter the order number or the invoice number for that customer based on the information that you captured in the first search. So these kind of activities do exist, and sometimes you have to do it multiple times in the same call. Again, these are very, very manual in nature. It could be a 2-step process. It could be a 10-step process. We have seen processes or type of calls where the CSRs have to perform this step or this transaction in a series of 20 to 30 steps as well, because there are just too many systems and there are too many data points for one customer. And post that search, they then have to maintain all the documents, note everything down, what they did as part of that transaction and call. And then close it out with call notes. In a nutshell, they just reset the application's post that call and get ready for the next call. And on top of it, the supervisors do need insights into what actually happened during the calls throughout the day, and where did the CSR or the agent spend most of the time. So this is how the current ecosystem of the CSR or the agent looks like, and the potential automation opportunities. What we believe is that providing an integrated and a rich user experience for the agents can have a very, very positive impact on the call and the associated customer experience. The various applications that the agent needs to navigate through, if they are all well integrated, without, of course, changing the underlying architecture, and if the data is presented neatly, arranged with, I would say, the right context, as well as the right information that could be very handy for the CSRs, as well as providing them various small Lego blocks of automations. Those steps could be perform a search in 4 systems at the same time, update the steps to change the address in these 3 systems. And all that the agent needs to do is call the right automation block and let the software robots perform those actions. And while this is happening, of course, the agent can work on other systems, or more importantly, they can spend qualitative time with the customer and engage more with the customer. What we have seen is that this kind of solution not only helps with reducing the manual effort, which of course has a very direct impact on the call handle times, but it also provides more time to the agents to engage with the customers, through which they can either upsell or cross-sell other products and services from your company. So today, with robotic automation in place, the contact centers can be the revenue generators for your companies as well, outside of course, providing all of the support to the customers. And the technology as such cuts across different underlying systems. And as I stated earlier, this technology is so advanced these days that even if there are more than 50 applications, which is something that we have seen in a few scenarios, or systems that are on different packages and technologies, all of those can be implemented fairly quickly. Average time we have seen is around 8 weeks to implement these kind of solutions. And at the same time, there could be a continuous feedback loop that can be addressed and more automations built out for the agents. So robotic automation has had a very, very positive impact on the overall customer experience and all of the metrics associated with the contact centers. And in short, robotic automation in a contact center, many people call it assisted automation, some call it automation on demand, some call it integrated dashboard. The key features of this solution would essentially help the agent provide a unified view of all of the customer data and capture the right information from various underlying systems based on the context of the call and alert the agents so that they look at the right data and the red flags associated with that customer. It significantly improves the overall productivity of the agents, not just during the call, but even for the activities that the agents complete between two calls. Good examples, the amount of time that the agent spends in taking notes post a call, or resetting different applications post a call. And what we have seen is that on an average, an agent takes anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes between two calls. With robotic automation, that time can be reduced to anywhere from 2 seconds to 15 seconds, thereby increasing the overall productivity of the agents as well. It also helps streamline the entire process, though we do suggest that process reengineering should be generally kept out of scope for robotic automation. But many times when these automations are built, we do realize that there are steps which are redundant, and either those can be automated as well or eliminated. And when this happens, it streamlines the entire process and provides more efficiency. Of course, software robots are designed to perform the same task consistently with the same accuracy, and hence, like even the mistakes which sometimes the agent may make while moving data from one screen to another, that is completely eliminated from this kind of automation, which in a way can help with reduced number of repeat calls as well in your contact center. And as I said, it can integrate with all different kind of applications, especially in the contact center world. The key applications where we have seen which are very critical to improve the overall experience is the integration with the telephony systems. And as soon as the call lands, a lot of automation can trigger automatically. It helps provide a kind of a single application, an integrated view of all the different applications without worrying about whether I have opened all the applications or some of the applications may have been timed out. So the system takes care of everything, and the agent need not worry about whether they have the right applications based on their call. And the solution itself is built on a reusable framework, which can provide all these small Lego blocks of automation, as well as support multiple technologies. And what we have seen is that while you can start the journey of deploying these software robots in contact center, but as and when the various processes are automated, we have seen that there are many tasks and processes which are complex in nature but can be automated as well through different types of automation. Now, of course, in the contact center world, it is about humans who are controlling all the automations. And what I say by controlling the automation is that humans or the agents in the contact center decide when to trigger the automation. And that's how we call, and that's what is categorized as assisted automation. But beyond that, if there are activities that go post the call, for example, let's say the agent logged the ticket for that customer and said that, okay, I have logged the ticket and you should get a confirmation about the resolution for your problem or some kind of action based on the context of the call in the next 24 hours, then that ticket which gets logged can be automated by software robots, which are typically designed to run 24 by 7 and can monitor any work queue. It could monitor the ordering systems. It could monitor your ticketing systems, your case management systems, your various CRM systems. And just like how the users would pick up one request at a time, these software robots can pick up the request very similar to how the users do it today and complete the entire automation. So this is more of a touchless automation, end-to-end automation, where the robots are configured to monitor an incoming work queue and then process the work items accordingly. And of course, like with the new advancements that we have seen, especially around artificial intelligence and machine learning, and all the other support systems being available on the technology side, whether it is big data and cognitive automation, these software robots can make decisions and solve many complex problems which today either take a lot of time and coordination between various groups or users to take the right decision, or which sometimes may be, I would say, based on a subjective decision. But with AI-enabled cognitive automation, these software robots can solve many complex problems which generally have either remained unsolved or which take a much longer time. Great examples that we see in the unstructured data and complex rules are, of course, like emails, which can be very unstructured, but at the same time, if that email and the task goes beyond the manual steps and gets into some kind of policies and documents and the rules behind it, which essentially could be very, very complex, these kinds of automation can really help solve those kind of complex problems. So this is how we look at the entire automation journey in a contact center world, starting with providing automations to the users, to demand automation based on the context of the call, apply automation wherever tasks need to be taken care of post the call, and for complex problems, apply the AI-enabled cognitive automation and, of course, provide the right notification and updates to the customers as well as to the right stakeholders. And coming back to like how this should be implemented in a typical company or an enterprise, the flow is pretty much self-explanatory, what you see on the screen. A global queue of all the requests coming in. It could be the tickets, the cases, the various Excel sheets that you receive, the emails. A classifier on the very right side, on the very left-hand side, which determines whether there is enough information available in those work items for robots to start automating and then resolving. If they are not able to resolve, then of course they put back into the queue and route it for manual intervention. But at the same time, if there are calls or chats coming in and where the user needs to trigger the automation, then of course the journey can start with assisted automation and going back all the way to resolving the cases. Whether it is the automation of AssistEdge or end-to-end automation or AI-enabled cognitive automation, we have seen that it does impact all of the metrics of the contact and back office centers. Some examples being reduction in handle times, reduction in repeat calls, reduction in wait times, an increase in the net promoter score, increase in scale, sales, increase in revenues, cash flows, all of the benefits that many of our customers have seen. And in this kind of setup, everyone gains, whether it is the employee of the company or the larger enterprise itself, and even the entire society, because when customers are spending less time on the call, then of course that beyond the positive experience, the likelihood of they staying back with you or your company for the specific product or service is significantly increased, and at the same time, then they can spend more time with the other activities which anyways they had planned for. And finally, I do want to provide a quick update on how at EdgeVerve and at Infosys we provide automation solutions to our customers. And it's a very holistic end-to-end automation platform covering various aspects of automation in a contact center. We spoke about the assisted automation and the unassisted automation in depth in the last 30 minutes or so. What we also offer to our customers is the ability to discover the processes that are great candidates for automation. The capability that you see on the left-hand side, the integrated device monitoring from AssistEdge captures all of the keystrokes, performs the data analytics, and then provides a view on the exact steps that are taken by the users for a specific process, and which can be a good candidate for automation. And then the next step, or I would say the intelligent automation that are offered through our platform, AssistEdge, are the chatbots, which are kind of intelligent chatbots, which brings in the capability of natural language processing as well as machine learning to understand the context of the request. Of course, this entire conversation is over the chat channel, and then provide automated responses back to the customers or to the internal users wherever they need help. So overall, the platform AssistEdge offered by EdgeVerve is an end-to-end holistic platform that covers various aspects of automation in a contact center and in various business functions associated with customer service and experience, and provides significant value outside of the operational savings as well. So that was a quick 30-minute roadmap. I'm sorry, Sherry, I took, I think, 2 minutes extra, but I hope this provides a good insights into robotic automation and how it can help the contact centers and your customers.
Thank you, Naresh. And we do have some questions that have already come in. As a reminder, place your questions in that Q&A section. So there was a question that came in back when you showed the agents, and they were logging into multiple screens, and then through robotic automation, a lot of this can be done for them. So the question that came in at that time, how is this different from macros, record, and playback, which have been around for many years?
Good question, Jerry. So I think one scenario that we see quite often is that while these kind of manual activities have been there for years, if not decades, some agents have kept it manual, but at the same time, yes, there are agents or there are, I would say, companies who have built solutions that can automate these activities. When we talk of macros, they are essentially point solutions. And in a way, we can look at building point solutions, or rather, I would say any company can look at building point solutions for all of these manual activities. But is that the right approach? Is it something which is solving a broader problem? Or is it just solving a smaller problem, and then someone may have to create all these macros, which could be then across all over the place in an organization? Robotic automation and a unified dashboard well integrated with all of the applications provides a much broader and a holistic approach towards not just automating these activities, but also ensuring that all of the features that should be made available to the users, they are made available with the right technology framework as well as the approach. Just to summarize in short, Sherry, that macros are kind of point solutions which may solve a very specific problem, but not essentially all of the problems that we see in the contact center world.
What are some of the largest challenges with the use of robotic automation?
So one of the, I would say, biggest challenge that we have seen with robotic automation has been that in environments where the agents need to access 10 or 15 systems, the robots are very well able to automate actions on those systems. The challenge lies when a couple of systems out of those 10 or 15 systems may not be accessible directly by the agents, something which are systems that are made available to the agents via secured environments like Citrix environment. So while automation is possible through some of the features available as part of robotic automation, that largely remains a challenge to solve many problems related to those kind of systems. But I think what we have seen is that in the last 6 months, great progress has been made even to automate actions on those secure environments like Citrix. But that would be the number one challenge that we have seen, especially with respect to deploying robotic automation.
Do you find that with robotic automation, it's very highly customized per company or per contact center, or is it possible to take a solution and just kind of tweak it, adapt it? What have you found with these? Do you need to really do heavy customization with that?
Sure, Sherry. I think that's a great question, and let me answer that in two parts. One is that all the automations that are built on this technology stack, they are built using a plug-and-play framework, which essentially means that any action that is performed by the user, you can configure it based on those business rules, and the robots can then automate the transactions or the task whenever triggered. Number two, that while all of these automations are applied or deployed in various scenarios, what we have seen is that every company, they have designed their own set of processes and the steps that the agents need to be followed for a particular call. As an example, even if we take industry like insurance or healthcare, and let's take an example of claims administration. The steps with respect to claims administration would definitely differ from company to company. And hence, while robotic automation can always be reused across these different use cases, the underlying systems do vary. And for those types of automations, yes, the steps need to be reconfigured. But the important point that all of us need to note is that this is a pretty generic framework with lots of reusable components for various technologies, and you can design any process automation by these building blocks, which are out of box for many technologies.
Okay, good. Have you identified any apps that will not integrate and will not work well with robotic automation? We have a comment from someone that had written in. They have various apps to process that their contact center receives, and they find that many solutions I look at just don't work with them. So how open is this? Is it pretty, or do you find that it's pretty easy to integrate with these apps?
So if I say that robotic automation can solve every problem, I don't think that would be the right answer. I think that was also a very good question, that yes, there are technologies which robotic automation would not solve using the right approach. And what I mean by right approach is that since the robotic automation is designed to automate all the front-end activities, they need to be automated using the right framework or adapters so that it is always accurate 100% of the time. There are technologies which robotic automation is not able to, I would say, implement with the right approach, especially Power Builder applications like Power Builder or some kind of very custom Java applets. But as I said, that there are two approaches with respect to robotic automation. One is the right approach in terms of ensuring that all of the controls around I'm using more technical terms here. All the controls behind a specific action, they are identified the software robots and performed and automated. But at the same time, wherever such properties or controls could not be extracted by the software robots, the fallback option would be surface automation, which would be a kind of a screen resolution-based or a pixel-based automation and extracting the information based on those specific locations and image. So, Sherry, in short, the answer is that yes, there are technologies which may not be automated using the right approach, example being Power Builder, Citrix, but yes, with surface automation, even those problems have been addressed.
Okay. We've been talking about customer-facing contact centers. I'm assuming you can use robotic automation for internal or help desk just as easily.
That is correct. So, in fact, while we focused more on the contact centers, and there are many business functions where robotic automation can be applied, and I would say if we have to look at over 400 implementations that we have with respect to robotic automation, we see that 30 to 40% fall under contact centers category, and the remaining ones are beyond the contact centers. Good examples being shared services, finance and accounting, HR operations, service desk, supply chain, claims, and accounting. So those are other functions where we have seen robotics has been leveraged to automate many activities even beyond the contact centers.
Of the 30, 40% in the contact center, have you seen a pattern? Is there one type or something that companies are asking for more than others? Is it this, or does everybody want something different?
The common patterns are, of course, that in almost every contact center, I would say more than 70% of the contact centers, the number of systems are definitely more than one. I have rarely seen a contact center with only one system. So the typical activities of manually logging into various systems, those remain common. on an average 5 systems per contact center, and this is across geographies. The other common function that we have seen is the call notes, which is a required activity post every call, which is also kind of manual, which has been addressed by robotic automation. But outside of that, we have seen variation between industry as well as geographies and how each company is leveraging robotic automation. And of course, the complexity increases based on the underlying systems as well.
Okay. So if a company is thinking about robotic process automation, what sort of analysis do they need to start thinking to do? What kind of numbers do they need to get together? How do they start to justify something like this?
So let me answer that from a contact center perspective. Generally, what we have seen is that in a contact center, the processes are well defined and well documented. And the agents typically go through a training exercise also before they are onboarded. Simple rule of thumb is that for certain types of calls, if the agent has to perform 4 or 5 steps or higher number of steps, and which are all rules-based, those should be automated using robotic automation. Or I would say in normal English, like if for certain types of calls, if you can write all your steps on a piece of paper and hand it over to the agents to then drive the call as well as the task, those should be looked at from robotic automation. So you need not spend a lot of time either watching the agents or looking at some of the other data, which is the steps that are performed by their agents or video recordings to identify the automation opportunity. So that is something that I would strongly recommend for a contact center. Now, beyond contact center, of course, we do understand that challenges remain with respect to identifying the right process for automation. And if there are not enough documents available, or if the processes, there is very limited information available about those processes and how each user completes those processes, then integrated device monitoring, which is a solution that automatically captures all the keystrokes and performs desktop analytics and provides a view into what are the various business processes that are performed by the users and what is the potential automation opportunity, that should be used to identify such opportunities. But I would say across geographies and across industries, in contact centers especially, there is a lot of information available, and it is pretty much rules-driven. So those small pieces of, I would say, sub-processes should be identified for robotic automation. And of course, the two common activities that we see, which is the automated sign-on as well as the automated call notes, that would apply for any contact center.
Okay, good. If you can just go on to that last slide with your contact information. That very last slide, I believe, has the phone number and maybe your email address. So people can see how that's the first one. So, you know what, I am going to grab, there you go. Okay.
Yeah,
there's your contact information. So if you have other questions, you can feel free to reach out to Naresh. You can call or email, and he's got lots of other information he can share with you. So that seems to be the questions we have. Let me know if you like, for everybody in the audience, the 30-minute platform where we have that presentation, and then we can get many more of your questions in that way. And there are a lot of great questions that that came in. So at this point, we will be closing down this webcast, and in about 24 hours or so, you will receive a link to the recording and to the slide deck. So we would like to thank Naresh and EdgeVerve for giving us this 30-minute roadmap to robotic automation. And of course, we would like to thank everyone in our audience today for spending your past about an hour with us. So thank you all and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you all. Bye-bye.